Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTbase.com. Welcome to our weekly COT review. Today we're going to be analyzing the second Commitments of Traders report of 2022. And as we always do, we shall start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials positions. Before we jump to the review, this is a brief reminder for those of you who are new to COT analysis, just joining our YouTube channel, that we actually focus on the analysis of the Commitments of Traders report. We offer a lot of educational material. We have recommendations of what books to read. We also have some very useful videos as well that will guide you through the analysis process, helping you better understand how to analyze this wonderful data. Okay, back to the review and starting off with our first market, which will be sugar. We have a 28% change in commercials positions. So the change size can be witnessed here on the chart. Of course, commercials represented with a red chart. Green are large speculators. And then we've got the blue line representing small speculators, who the CFTC calls non-reportables. So the magnitude is actually pretty large, much greater than average. It is maybe top 5 on this 1 year's chart. You can see that. It is pointing upwards. So it suggests that we may see some strengthening happening in the sugar market in the next couple of days. Now, moving on to the 5 years chart, you can see that not only do we have a bullish COT change signal, but the extreme analysis seems to be pretty bullish as well, or becoming bullish. What do I mean? So, we have a bearish COT extreme right over there in this region, starting from, let's say, October of 2020 and then moving on into 2021 throughout the whole year. Bearish extreme, maybe halting or a bit decreasing the tempo of this rally, but definitely not changing the trend, okay? You got to go back on this 5 years chart to see more exact extremes, like the one from February of 2020, bearish extreme. Then we had that bullish extreme in April of 2020, pushing the market higher. So now we are witnessing traders shifting their positions so that we have this bullish extreme in the market. This can definitely go to even greater levels, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly when the market will shift higher. But overall, the shorter term signal and the longer term signal is pointing upwards, suggesting we may see even stronger sugar prices coming. The next market will be heating oil, where we have a 23% change in commercials position. So 1 year's chart, here we go. That's the magnitude, definitely greater than average, maybe even top 10, I should say. And it is coming after a decent rally that's been going on for many weeks now, since November of 2021. So this suggests that we may actually see a bit of a decline in the next couple of days. We'll see what happens, but let's open the 5 years chart to see if we have an extreme, and the answer is no. So you can see we had a bullish extreme in February of 2020. Bullish extremes more or less quite often in 2019 and 2020. We moved away from those levels, but never actually reached those high bearish extremes. Okay, so this in itself is actually, I would consider, more bullish for the market. But of course, I always tell you to analyze the correlating energy markets when you do analyze one of these, let it be crude oil or heating oil or the gasoline market. It's good to see everything else. And by the way, you can see we've got the energy complex over here. It's something you may want to look at if you become a subscriber. We actually analyze the whole sector for you, combining the COT reports into one and kind of getting a energy complex COT report. South African Rand, that's going to be the next market. 21% change in commercials positions. You can see the magnitude of that change size. Again, this is a bearish COT change signal, a bit larger than average, and suggesting some weakness coming in the next few days. Now, moving on to the 5 years chart, let's see if there's an extreme to talk about. And I think my answer will be no. So not really. You got to go back to March of 2020. After commercials being in this bearish territory, suddenly moving into a more bullish extreme, that kind of pinpointed the bottom over there. But since then, not much has happened. So again, these are those situations where you just gotta, shift your attention to somewhere else. There's so many markets to analyze. So moving on to the large speculator COT Extreme analysis, we've got the Euro-Japanese Yen pair on top of our list with an all-time COT Extreme. Now, caution is advised. Euro-Japanese Yen futures market has limited COT history. They only started publishing the reports since 2017. Okay, so and you can see even since then there were times when there was just not enough liquidity in the market, not enough contracts traded for CFTC to publish reports. So not the best. It's a good example to kind of leave and move on to a separate analysis of the euro and then the separate analysis of the Japanese yen to really understand and measure the strength of the market. Okay. Nevertheless, it is a bullish extreme. Never have we ever seen in the past 5 years of COT history of this market traders at these levels. But again, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. Sugar, we talked about. Mexican peso will be the next market with a 31 report extreme in large speculators. You can see that actually we had an even greater bullish extreme in early December, about a month ago. It was actually a successful signal pushing the market back in rally mode. But you know what? It's been strong for quite some time, I should say. So you got to go back to 2020, January actually, so 2 years to really see a bearish COT extreme. So there's no real bearish extreme in this market since. So it suggests to me that in the medium to long term horizon, there is potential in the Mexican peso to gain some strength, even more that we have witnessed and see it much higher. And let's close off our review with another energy, natural gas. Here we have a 17 report extreme in large speculators. And, this is, again, more or less in between the two major extremes. So not much to talk about. So the last bullish extreme, somewhere over here in the end of 2019, early 2020, just before the market actually bottomed. Okay, we haven't really seen a great bearish extreme, maybe something over here in October 2020, but even that couldn't really push the market much lower. We still see the market gaining momentum, becoming even stronger. So I would expect traders to really go towards their bearish extremes before I'd feel any I'd feel comfortable going on the bearish side of the market. So that's all for this review. Of course, I understand you may be interested in other markets. Well, good news here at COTBase.com. You can analyze all the markets that CFTC publishes reports on. You can analyze all the COT report types and all the data types, by the way. So we analyze futures and options. You may want to analyze only futures data, or actually we constructed the options only data. If you are someone who trades a specific currency, let's say the Australian dollar, you have the opportunity to go and dig into the COT report for the Australian dollar. And of course, we also chart all the data sets that you see over here. So let's say you're interested in the large speculators long positions, then you can definitely analyze that. Now, if you would like to analyze the Commitment to Traders report in NinjaTrader, we have a wonderful indicator called the COT Base Pro. And by the way, it actually includes access to the website, but it gives you the indicator so that you can analyze these reports within NinjaTrader. That might be an advantage to some. Now, the ICOT intraday indicator is a unique indicator that focuses on the shorter term time frame. So we spent a lot of time, many years, to develop this indicator. I should point out that it is not the Commitment to Traders report published by CFTC. It is our own indicator, own data, but definitely the concepts that help generate this indicator were based on traditional COT analysis. So it's an amazing tool for those who are trading in the shorter time frame. So for example, gold, this is a 1 minute candlestick chart, and you can see what kind of signals we get from the indicator. We of course explain everything to you, not only on the charts, but we have some very good videos as well. I truly appreciate your attention. Thank you very much for being with me in this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will have a great weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next COT review. Take care. Goodbye.